All right, happy Friday. So I've been inspired to do more research on the power of play, especially for adults. And I came across an author named Stuart Brown, who is a psychiatrist, MD, and he wrote a whole book about play. He defines play as a state of being, purposeless, fun, and pleasurable. And he did so many different kinds of studies. You can even Google him on TED Talk, where he spends half an hour talking about the value of play in our daily lives. But one thing that struck me from one of his researches was that he concluded that play is necessary for survival. Another place I found information on the benefits of play for adults was research put into helpguide.org by various authors and MDs. And a few of the benefits, there were many, but the few of them that struck me were that play relieves stress, it stimulates the mind and boosts creativity, it improves brain function, improves relationships and connection to others. Connection has been a carrying on theme as we were talking about vulnerability and empathy in the last few days. Play keeps you feeling young and energetic. I don't think I have to tell you that. And at work, play can help you to see problems in new ways. It helps to prevent burnouts. It improves teamwork, improves innovation. And there are many, many other benefits, but those are the ones that really struck me. And then as I was driving after a run today, I was listening to a podcast called The Power of Play on the channel called Lesbians in Love. And it defines play as full immersion in the present moment with a sense of curiosity, an attitude of exploration. And all of this is such important stuff when you're in stress and you're trying to solve a problem, like how am I going to pay rent this month, whatever it might be. And it allows us to open up to possibilities that are not available when we are in serious mode. They in fact called serious mode being a narrowing down of perspective, limiting our choices of what we think we can do. Interesting. So I want to explore that today. And if you'll remember, Spadhisthana, which is the second chakra or main energy center, is much about our ability to play. It's the sacral chakra, and the physical movements associated with it are hip openers and the ability to flow like water, as I think Bruce Lee said. So how important is play in your life? How do you integrate it in your life, or do you? So we're going to start now by just standing up and step your feet apart, wider than hip distance, and then parallel your feet. Bend your knees a lot, hinge from your hips with a long spine, and just fold. Come upside down to just shift your perspective literally and get some blood flow into the brain. Bend the knees a lot and just let your torso move around. Maybe you circle out the hands, maybe you shimmy out the shoulders, maybe you gently shake the head. And then just take notice of how you're breathing here as you're moving your body, exploring what it's feeling right now, what your mind is feeling right now, how you are feeling right now. And see if you can just set aside, put a pause on the other thoughts that are not relevant to this time and space. And really just give yourself a break to add some playfulness in your yoga practice. All right, take a deep inhale. Stick out the tongue, open the eyes and mouth wide, and let it go. Lion's breath is traditionally done with the eyes crossed. So let's try that again. Inhale deeply. This time, look towards me, stick out the tongue, cross the eyes, let it go. And then bend your knees a lot. And then start to roll up as you breathe in, stacking one vertebra at a time. Shake, shimmy out the hips, rotate the pelvis, do any moving around that just feels fluid water-like to you. And in place of beginning with Bastrika or Bella's breath today, I thought I'd set the timer for a different kind of meditation that some of you who've been with me for many years, we practiced in the past. And it's called a laughing meditation. You got it. So try not to be in your head so much. Just be in your body and your heart. Ready? That's it. Keep going. Sometimes you have to fake it at first. Take a deep breath in. Let it go. Deep inhale. And exhale through the mouth. Find a comfortable seat. Set your left hand on the center of your chest. Set your right hand just below the belly button. And begin to slow down your breath. Just feel the effects of that. Do we have to have a reason to laugh, to play, to allow spontaneous joy in our daily lives? If you have an intention, clarify that for yourself. And as you close the lips, softly narrow the back of your throat. And let's begin Ujjayi Pranayama, victorious breath. Sustaining your breath equally in and out through the nose. If you ever get the itch to just laugh and giggle spontaneously, I highly encourage it throughout this hour. And beyond that, softly open your eyes. Now, as you're sitting, pressing down the two sitting bones, just start to rotate your spine. These are called Sufi circles, just circling at the pelvis, breathing in, breathing out, and switch directions. What are your hips telling you today? Feeling really open? Do they need some help being opened? Switch directions again. Really just make it more organic. If you want to roll out the shoulders too, you don't want to make circles, do something else. Take a few more breaths. Taking the liberty to always add your own spice as you are listening to your own body. And let's start to make our way down to all fours, hands and knees. So as you plant your palms face down, set your wrists a couple inches in front of your shoulders, but your knees right under your hips. And then spin out your fingertips to whatever degree feels like a good stretch for your inner wrists and forearms. All right, breathing in, lengthen the chest forward and coil it up into cow pose. Breathing out, contract the belly, look between your knees and round into cat pose. Keep going, breathing in, lengthen the lower back and arch right under the shoulder blades. Breathing out, contract the belly, tuck the tailbone under. Now you might continue several more cycles of cat-cow like this, or you change up your hands, maybe come up onto your fingertips for some wrist strengthening, or you just move organically any way that feels good because your body's like, ooh, this is nice, let me do more of that. Lateral movement in the pelvis, in the head. rolling out the shoulders, dancing your cat-cow. Just play with it for a few more breaths. And then let's arrive in child's pose. Bring the feet together. Knees can be together or very wide apart. And do actively reach your arms forward so your elbows are not resting on the ground. Take a deep inhale and slither forward into a small cobra pose. So slide the belly to the floor, legs are straight back, and then gently lift the chest, hugging the elbows close to your sides. Exhale, glide back into child's pose. Sink the pelvis all the way down to your heels. Let's try a few more rounds. Inhale, slither forward, hug the elbows close to your sides, roll the shoulders back and down into cobra. Exhale, draw the pelvis back and down towards your feet in child's pose. And then take at least 2 more cycles on your own, breathing in from the tops of the feet down as you lift the heart. Breathing out. Hollow the belly as you drop the pelvis to your feet. Like waves of the ocean. And then when you arrive in child's pose, separate your feet at least hips width apart and come into downward facing dog. So take 5 or so breaths. If you want to shift around or right away be still, whatever you're feeling in this moment, meet yourself there. Shifting around might include softly moving your head, releasing any holding in the neck, pedaling the feet, swiveling the hips left and right, maybe even raising a leg up, and then the other side. And then arriving at downward facing dog. Wrap your triceps towards the floor and secure your shoulder blades apart and up away from the neck. So they're onto your back ribs. And as you firm the belly, inhale, glide forward into plank pose, top of a push-up. You can have your knees on the ground or legs straight, look forward, and then slowly engage the belly like you're doing a sit-up and re-lift the pelvis back into downward facing dog. Twice more, inhale, glide forward into plank pose. Elongate from heels to crown of the head. Exhale, scoop the belly in, press the front of your thighs back, downward dog. Once more, inhale, come forward to plank. The shoulders back away from the neck. Exhale, pull in the belly, downward facing dog. Now set your knees down again so they're right under your hips. Wrists are now right under your shoulders. And just feel the difference between squeezing your shoulder blades together, like we've been practicing retraction. Oh, hi, Dylan here. And splaying the shoulder blades apart, protraction. So play with those two extremes, squeezing the shoulder blades together and spreading the shoulder blades apart. Now find in between, in the middle of that. Not completely wide apart, not squeezing them together, and then lengthen your neck. So you're pressing the shoulders away from the neck. And feel that stability of your shoulders in their sockets. Extend your right leg behind you, tucking the toes in the ground. And then spin the right heel flat, raising the right arm into a modified side. So here, as you're spreading the left fingers, rebound your weight off the floor and continue to draw the left shoulder blade down your back. Really feel that you're plugging that left shoulder bone into its socket. Now with your left shin, begin to slide your left foot behind you towards the left edge of your mat so that shin is perpendicular to the length of your mat. And then trace your right toes behind you like an arc so that you begin to lift the chest to face the sky. And now you're in a modified, often called wild thing or tripod back. Now lift your right arm, sweep up and overhead as you gaze up towards the sky, opening the heart space. Take a couple more deep breaths. So here you want to be very aware that you're drawing that left shoulder blade down your back, away from your neck, and you're plugging the shoulder bone into its socket. Now come back to that side plank where the left toes, the right toes are pointing towards the rear wall. And then place your right hand on the floor, the top of the mat. Step the right foot inside of the right hand and come into Anjaneyasana. So bend the front knee just over the heel, from down through that heel, and then raise the arms, lift the sides of your torso, lift your frontal hip bones, and firm down through both feet. Now here, let's add some movement. Get a little bit longer, a little bit taller as you breathe and feel the tailbone point down. And now as you exhale, bend the elbows apart like a cactus shape and slide the shoulder blades down the back, tilting your heart up. Inhale, extend the arms forward and up, get a little bit taller. And again, exhale, bend the elbows apart and coil your chest up. One more. Inhale, arms forward and up, from down through the feet. Exhale, cactus the arms and lift the heart. And let's place the hands on the floor, the knees on the floor, returning back to all fours. From here, stabilize the shoulder blades onto your back ribs and straighten your left leg, toes on the ground. And spin your left heel onto the mat, raise your left arm, and come into that modified side plank for a few breaths. Feel your right shoulder blade move away from your ear. Spread your fingers of your right hand and rebound your weight off the floor through it. Now slide your right foot behind you towards the right wide width of your mat so that your right shin becomes perpendicular to the length of your mat. Then trace your left toes like an arc behind you so that you can turn your chest to face the sky and sweep the left arm overhead towards your front wall, dropping the skull back. Keep that right shoulder blade safe onto your back ribs. Couple more breaths. So this is a modified version of Wild Thing, also called tripod back bend. Now begin to return to that side plank. So both sets of toes point towards the rear edge of your mat. And then reach the left hand to the top of your mat and step the left foot forward inside of your left hand, coming into a kneeling lunge. Bending the front knee just over the heel from down through your feet and raise your arms. Lift your frontal hip bones and feel your spine grow upright. Now let's add that movement again with a breath. Inhale, cactus the elbows apart and coil your chest up. Exhale, extend the arms forward and up. Inhale, cactus and lift the heart. Exhale, long line forward and up. Last time, inhale, cactus the arms, lift the heart. Exhale, the arms forward and up. From here, lower your fingertips at the front of your mat and step the right foot forward to fold. Bend your knees and round up, inhaling to stack one vertebra at a time, lifting your head last. Roll the shoulders back and down. Let's flow through Sun Salutation A. Inhale, raise the arms up, gazing overhead. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, lift the chest, lengthen the spine. Step into plank or float to Chaturanga if you feel ready for that, and lower into your Vinyasa. Breathing into Cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. Stay a few breaths. We're going to mark a route through which we're going to playfully flow with a breath later. But for now, let's make it a semi-flow as we establish where we're going. At least a skeleton for where we're going. So from downward facing dog, inhale, raise your right leg. Exhaling, bend that knee and turn open at the hip. From here, you could stay, or you could flip it over into a full tripod back bend. Another option is to come down to your left knee and take the modified tripod back bend we already practiced. From the tripod back bend, lifting the heart, keeping that left shoulder blade snug on your back ribs. Slowly step right foot to the top of your mat, landing in crescent lunge. So you might want to lower your right hand first and then step the foot inside of it. Or if you're feeling risky, you can step the right foot forward with just the left hand down and then come all the way up to crescent lunge. So take a moment to feel your alignment in this position. Start with your feet hips distance apart, parallel to each other. You're bending the back knee if you need to help draw the tailbone down further so the pelvis is not spilling forward. And you're lifting up through the side waist, but relaxing the shoulders down. Now from here, join your hands at your heart to help transition to Warrior Two, facing left. Spin the back heel down, slide the right foot a few inches to the left, and align your right heel to intersect the arch of your left foot as you open your arms wide. Returning out your right leg. Right knee, middle toe down the center line of your mat. Your straight left leg firming the top of the left thigh bone back. Now let's take one more inhale before flipping the right palm and laterally reaching towards the rear of your mat in peaceful, also known as exalted warrior. Let's take a full cycle of breath here. Make sure that your right knee continues to face forward, not turning left. Now on your exhale, sweep the right arm in front of your torso like you're splashing water in a river, and plant your hands in plank pose, preparing to flow into your own vinyasa. If you want to spice it up for some core rigor, keep the right foot lifted as you lower, then both feet down as you inhale to lift the chest into cobra or upward facing dog. Then we'll meet in downward facing dog. Let's take a lion's breath, just because it's fun. At least I think so. Take a deep breath in, stick out your tongue, open the eyes and cross them. And close the lips. Steady whisper at the back of the throat. Inhale, raise the left leg. As you exhale, bend the knee, turn open at your left hip. Now you could stay here, you could place the right knee on the ground, come into the modified version of Wild Thing, or take the full Wild Thing if you're feeling secure with that right shoulder blade down the back. Reaching the left arm overhead. If you're in full, lift your pelvis, let your head fall back. Take another inhale. If you want the support of the left hand, place it on the mat at the top. Otherwise, just step the left foot forward, come into a high lunge, and slowly rise up into crescent pose. So make sure here your feet are hips distance apart, they're parallel. You could bend your right knee to help align your pelvis upright, and you're squaring your hips forward. Feel the lift through the arms, though you're relaxing the shoulders. And then join your hands at your heart to prepare. Take a deep breath in. Facing the right side, exhale to Warrior Two. So spin the right heel down, slide the left foot over to the right just enough so that heel aligns to the arch of your right foot, and then open up the arms. Spread your wings. Relax the shoulders. So left knee and middle toe are facing the midline of your mat as you're turning out the left leg from the hip. Top of the right thigh bone is firming back as you straighten the right leg. Let's take one more cycle of breath. Exalted warrior. Flip the left palm up. Keep the front knee bent as it is. Lift the side waist and laterally lean towards the rear wall of your room. Relax the shoulders. Take another breath in. Then sweep the left arm in front of you like you're splashing water in a river. Place your hands at the top of your mat and step into plank. Now, if you're looking for some core rigor, keep your left foot lifted as you lower from plank. Then both feet on the ground as you inhale into your back bend. Now we'll meet in downward facing dog. Remembering you could always take a modified version or even child's pose if you prefer. Let's take a few breaths here, listening to a steady rhythm that will be your metronome. Beyond my voice, let the sound of your breath pace you. Let's finish off this round and we'll take a couple in a continuous flow. Same sequence, bend your knees, look forward, bottom of the exhale, lightly land at the top of your mat. Inhale, lengthen halfway up. Exhale, fold. Sweeping the arms, inhale, rise up, ease up, and exhale to your heart, flowing like water. Here we go, inhale the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway, step to plank, float to chaturanga, insert your own vinyasa, moving at your pace of breath. When you arrive at downward dog, inhale, raise the right leg. Exhale, bend the knee and open the hip. Stay here or start to fall into wild thing. Breathe in and lift the heart in wild thing if you're there. Exhale, transition to a high lunge. Step the right foot to the top of your mat and rise up to crescent. Breathing in. On your exhale, join your hands at your heart and turn left into warrior two. Opening the arms wide. Inhale into warrior two. Flip the right palm up and exhale, sweep it back into exalted warrior. Sweep the right arm in front of you like you're splashing water in a river, inhaling into plank. And then add your own touch here, your version of a vinyasa. Making your way back to downward facing dog. And once there, inhale, raise the left leg. Exhale, bend the knee, open at your left hip. Stay here or flip it over and inhale into tripod back bend. Slowly transition to a high lunge as you exhale, stepping the left foot to the front of your mat. Then inhale to rise up, crescent pose. Join your hands at the heart and turn right as you exhale into warrior two. Then inhale and warrior two, the front knee. Exhale, flip the left palm and sweep it back, exalted warrior. Continue to circle that arm in front of you, splash the river water. Inhale into plank. Flow or no flow, we'll meet back in downward facing dog. Several breaths there. Refining your metronome, that is your breath. All right, fueling up for the last round. Same sequence, bend your knees, look forward. Bottom of the exhale, lightly land at the top. Inhale, lengthen halfway up. Exhale, fold in. Inhale to rise all the way up. Exhale to gather at your heart, mountain pose. Finding fluidity and flow, inhale the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Float to chaturanga, step to plank. Take your version here of a vinyasa. At your own breath pace, when you arrive at downward facing, inhale, raise the right leg. Exhale, bend the knee, turn open at the hip. Stay here or step it over into tripod as you inhale, lifting the heart, wild thing. Exhale, transition to a high lunge, stepping right foot at the top of your mat. Then inhale to rise up into crescent pose. Hands to heart. Exhale, turn left, transition to warrior two. Then inhale, define your warrior two. Exhale, flip the right palm, sweep it overhead, exalted warrior. Keep circling the arm forward, splash some water in the river. Inhale into plank. And add your own spice here. Back to downward facing dog. Arriving in downward. Inhale, raise your left leg. Exhale, bend the knee, turn open at the hip. Stay here or land wild thing and take a deep breath, lifting your heart space. Exhale, transition to step left foot at the top of your mat into a high lunge. Inhale, rise up into crescent pose. Hands at heart, turn right as you exhale to warrior two. Inhale in warrior two, define that front knee bend. Exhale, flip the left palm, sweep it overhead, exalted warrior. Continue circling the arm in front of you, splash some water. Inhale into plank. Flow or no flow, We'll meet back at home in downward facing dog. 3 to 5 deep breaths. Exploring space in your lungs, in your belly with that deep inhalation. Feel the release of the exhalation. If it feels good, flutter your lips on this last breath out. Bend your knees. Bottom of the exhale, lightly land. Top of your mat, forward. Breathe in, lengthen forward. Exhale, fold. Let's stay here for a moment and separate your feet hips distance parallel. We're going to stretch the wrists again. So you might want to bend your knees in order to be able to flip your palms up and really slip them under the soles of your feet so that your toes can meet the inner creases of your wrists. Then lean your weight forward towards the balls of your feet and breathe in as though you're pressing your heart through the gates of your arms. Elongate the spine forward. Keep that space in your neck and exhale, hinge from your hips. Bowing forward, drop the head. But lift the shoulders up away from the head. Feel the freedom and space in your neck. It may be helpful to bend the elbows apart as you do this. Let's try the half forward fold twice more here in Padahastasana. Inhale, press your heart through the gates of your arms. Exhale, bow in, release. One more, inhale, press your heart through the gates of your arms. Exhale, bow and release. Releasing the hands from under, heel toe the feet apart, wider than hips width. And prepare to find your version of a squat. So turning out the legs from your hips so that when you bend the knees open, they're only open to the amount that your middle toes are turned out. You could sit all the way down, you could sit on a block or the floor and step the heels wider apart. You could stand up taller in more of a horse stance. Just make sure you're not over bending the knees past your ankles. Or for some of us, if it feels natural, you can keep the pelvis hovering off the ground. Great for digestion. So from here, use your arms, whether it's your elbows or your hands, to gently splay your inner thighs apart. Feel a sense of reaching towards the earth through your pelvis and feet, while your heart and crown rise towards the open sky above. Relax the shoulders slightly behind you and down and broaden your chest here. Maybe you bring your hands together at your heart. Breathe in through the nose and breathe out through the nose. Start to lower your pelvis entirely onto the ground as we have some fun with boat pose. Woohoo! So bring your feet to touch. Bend your knees together to touch the start. Tilt back just enough to be able to lift your toes about the height of your eyes. And then lift your pelvic floor. Elongate the spine, relax the shoulders. Extend the arms forward or hold on to the ground of your legs. Maybe straighten the legs. Now take a deep breath as though you could from the bottom of your spine up to your neck. Lifting, lengthening. And as you exhale, relax the shoulders or any other unnecessary tension that might be accumulating here. Inhale, keep lifting from the lower spine up to your neck. Exhale, soften something that doesn't need to be clinging or tense. 2 more of that. Inhale, lift from the base of your spine to your neck. Exhale, release, feel the softening. 1 more, deep inhale, lifting through each vertebra up through the cervical spine. Exhale, relax, sinking. Now bend your knees apart, bring the inner edges of your heels to touch. Keep your feet off the ground and either catch hold of your ankles with your hands or clasp with your peace fingers, the index and middle fingers, your big toes. Keep flexing the feet. Now as you're pulling them towards you, you're kicking forward and that helps to sit up a little taller and really feel balance. So use those counterplay of forces. Now maybe you play with extending your left leg out to its side. Maybe your right leg out to the side. Maybe you lift the heart a little bit more. Or maybe you play with a bow and arrow and you bend the right knee towards your right ear. And You just feel that extension in the right outer hip. And whatever you do to one side, try the opposite. We're swimming in the air here for a few more breaths. So whatever you want to play with. Maybe straightening the legs together. Just feeling the strength of your torso, all the lovely core stability muscles there. And then when you're ready, set your feet together on the ground, knees apart, and let's prepare for Baddha Konasana. Isn't that fun? So ground your sitting bones, lift your heart, and exhale, fold forward. You could hold your feet or walk the hands forward. Feel your body breathing. And lead with your chest. Inhale to slowly rise up. Okay, just a little more play. Flex your feet and cross one ankle over the other and clasp. Feel that clasp? Press your fingertips outside your hips. If you have blocks, it will be really helpful to place your hands flat on the blocks. And then just imagine, just use your creativity and imagine your pelvis lifting off the ground and you're elevating, right? It's one of the superpowers of yoga, seriously. Take a deep breath, and as you exhale, elevate the pelvis off the floor. Maybe it doesn't happen physically yet, but see it in your mind's eye and then switch the cross of your ankles. One more time, deep inhale, and then exhale, elevate. Woo! And then from here, let's land back in downward facing dog. If you're new to joining us today, I see new face. We don't do this all the time. We change it up a bit, so I hope you come back. So from downward facing dog, walk your feet back towards your hands. Sweep the arms and inhale to rise all the way up. So let's do a little bit of that similar play, standing up, standing balancing pose. If you have a strap, if you have any tightness in your inner thighs or your hamstrings, you might find that strap useful, in which you would loop the ball of your right foot. I'm gonna be your mirror here in terms of right and left sides. Looping the strap in the ball of your right foot. If you don't have a strap, you can make do without it. I'll show you how to do it that way too. So let's bring the feet together in mountain pose. Feel the bowl shape that is your pelvis. Imagine your left and right hips were two ends of a seesaw, and you want to keep that seesaw balanced by zippering the navel in and up. So with that, root down to your left foot, spread the toes, and lift the right leg, bending the knee, flexing the foot. So if you don't have a strap, catch hold of your right knee with your right hand and place your left hand on your left hip. If you have a strap, extend that leg forward to whatever degree that you can balance your seesaw, as well as your shoulders, another seesaw. And then turn out your right leg and begin to open it slowly. Open the left arm to help counterbalance. And you are in Utthita Hasta Parangushtasana, hand to big toe pose. Nice. If you start to feel that your torso is becoming a seesaw and it's leaning over, you can either bend your right knee just to help bring your spine more vertical, or you can bring that right leg further towards the center line. But do make the adjustment because you want to make sure that the spine, you maintain the center line of your body upright. All right, last breath here, hand to big toe pose. Now we're coming into eagle pose. So bend the right knee, wrap it over the left leg, bend the left knee, and either join your hands in prayer. You could be flexing the right foot here, or you can tuck the right toes behind the left calf, re-squaring the hips forward. Or if you're gonna add the eagle arms, left arm over right, hook your thumbs, or wrap the forearms and palms. Sliding the shoulder blades down your back, lift the elbows to the height of your shoulders, and gently press the forearms away from your face. Now let's take a few breaths. Can we be playful even when we're concentrating, even when we're feeling perhaps challenged with balancing? Can we feel lightheartedness in falling? So much falling has such a negative connotation, but I do it a lot. And it's fun to practice how to be kind to yourself when it happens. Inhale here, Open up your wings from eagle pose and step back to mountain. All right, just a moment to shake it out, dance it out, jump it out, let it go. Now, if you use the strap, go ahead and loop the ball of your left foot into that strap, flexing the foot so you constantly feel a gentle tug of war, a peaceful tug of war. And if you're not using a strap, bring your right hand to your right hip either way and bend your left knee to catch it. If you have the strap, kick the leg forward to whatever degree you can straighten while plugging the left thigh bone into the hip socket, keeping the balance of your seesaws, the hip seesaw, the shoulder seesaw. Then turn out your left leg and begin to open it slowly so that you're mindful of when the torso might want to seesaw too. Keep the torso upright, make any adjustments like bending the left knee or bringing the left leg more to center, opening the right arm. Now, can you find a sense of freedom while you're in this pose for maybe 3 more breaths? Maybe the freedom is in the mind, like, okay, so if I fall, it's fine, I get back in. I let go of the fear of falling. Maybe the freedom is self-criticism, letting go of the inner critic and just being, you know what, here's how it is. And then start to bring that left leg forward. Okay, prepare for eagle. Wrap the left leg over the right, bend both knees like you're sitting in a chair. If you can, tuck the toes behind your calf, either join your hands in prayer or wrap the right arm over the left, either hooking your thumbs or wrapping your forearms and palms. Then draw the shoulder blades down your back, lift the elbows to the height of your shoulders, and gently press your forearms away from your face. Relax something as we enjoy this for 3 or so more breaths. Garudasana, eagle. I love having dreams where I'm flying because it's just that feeling of being able to see the bigger perspective and to soar, to feel endless impossibility. So perhaps you bring that into your flight. Take a deep breath in and expand your wings. Shake it out. Booty, shake it out. Remember, that's the sacral energy center circles. A little salsa or merengue or samba. Even though the music's a little different. Let's take a wide stance. We're going to prepare for an inversion. So if you have a different inversion practice, like headstand, dolphin pose, handstand, pincha mayurasana we did recently, feel free to take that on your own instead of this right now. I'm going to lead you into a forward fold with the option of going into tripod headstand. So parallel your feet in this wide stance. Bring your hands to your hips. Roll the shoulders back and inhale. As you exhale, hinge forward. Keep the spine long, the neck long, knowing that you can bend your knees as much as necessary if the back starts to round to prevent that. Lower your hand on blocks or the floor and shift a little more weight towards the balls of your feet. Lifting your chest, breathe in, and press your heart through the gates of your arms. Feel that space in your neck and the rest of your spine. Try to maintain it as you hinge again and begin to crawl the hands back. Keeping your fingertips pointing forward in the same direction that your toes are facing. Bend the elbows back if your hands are flat, if you want to prepare for tripod back bend. In so doing, you want to create a triangular base out of your 2 hands, spreading the fingers flat like Chaturanga Dandasana, and the very top of your head, maintaining the natural curve and length of your neck. So as your hands push the ground, you're lifting the shoulders away from the neck so that most of your weight is actually on your hands, not your head. Then you could place one knee and the other on top of your upper arms, making sure to parallel your arms so that you create a stable base out of your upper arms or shelf. Now you could scoop the belly in like you would in boat pose and bend the knees towards your belly, or opening the legs wide apart. Actually, I find this is easier to hold headstand when the legs are wide open, kind of balancing that seesaw of the pelvis. Do flex your feet if you're lifting up to headstand. It's very helpful and having control of the muscles in the legs and your weight there. Whatever inversion you're choosing to practice, give yourself a couple more breaths before you gently lower either into a wide-legged forward fold or child's pose, depending on what posture you're in now. Keeping your head low, try not to lift your head up right away to prevent lightheadedness. If you've landed into a wide-legged forward fold, let's prepare for a spinal twist. If you've landed in child's pose, prepare to walk your hands to the right for a side stretch. Take about 5 breaths on each side, right and left. For the spinal twist, crawl the hands forward, come up halfway, then place one hand on the ground just under your heart, raise the opposite arm, opening that side of your chest as you turn the chest into a spinal twist. Keeping your hips level. Lengthen the sides of your neck. Couple more deep breaths. Feel the reach of your top hand, helping to broaden your wingspan. Full expansion of the heart area. Then switch hands. Lower the top hand. Raise the other arm. Keep the hips squared and turn your chest. Lengthen the neck forward and twist. Then with both hands down, let's meet lying down on your back. Again, be mindful of not flipping the head up too quickly as you come to lie down. For bridge pose. One last heart opener. If you prefer upward facing bow with the hands alongside your ears, your shoulders might be pretty warm to do that. If you feel like that, feel free. Otherwise, bridge. Bring the arms down by your sides. Walk your feet back until you could almost touch your heels with your fingertips, but not quite, just almost. Parallel your feet, hips width apart, or hug a narrow width of a yoga block between your thighs and have your feet that spaced apart. Then ground your shoulders and feet to lift your pelvis while lengthening the tailbone forward. Slide the upper arms under your back ribs, bringing the arms closer together if you can. You might be able to clasp the fingers. Just be mindful not to splay the elbows bent apart. Tilt the chin slightly back and feel the full expansion of your lungs, taking at least 3 more breaths. Maybe stay longer. Literally promoting light-heartedness, like you have a helium balloon lifting up the heart center. You decide when you're ready to come out, use an exhalation and play with kissing the earth 1 vertebra at a time. First one down is a rotten egg. Once you're down, just windshield wiper your thighs left and right a few times, massaging your glutes, releasing your lower back. Now choose your spinal twist lying down. And if you don't have one in mind, this one's for the psoas, to release the psoas, lower back and hip area. Try this one. Keep your knees bent, separate your feet about mat width, so wider than hips width, and separate your knees just as wide apart as you drop both knees to your right. Once there, point your left knee down the midline of your mat. And if you're not yet feeling much of a stretch in the left side of your lower back and the front of your left hip, then try adding crossing your right ankle just above your left knee to rest onto your thigh. And you might add raising the arms overhead, bending the elbows, and catching hold of opposite ones as you relax the shoulders down your back. Now feel the breath in, enlivening your lungs and every cell in your human body. Feel the breath out, a cleansing release. Anything feeling stuck, anything that just needs to flow, and be finished digested. Take one more deep breath. And then release the arms, uncross the legs, step the feet apart again about mat width, separating the knees just as wide apart as your feet. Drop both knees to the left entirely. Then point your right knee down the midline of your mat. Notice how this feels on the right side of your psoas. If it's plenty, stay here. If not yet, pick up your left foot. Cross the left ankle just above your right knee onto your right thigh. If you want to explore some more, raise the arms overhead. Cross the other elbow on top as you catch them and relax the shoulders down. Can you feel the joy and ease in your breath? Well, that's a strong waterfall. Let me change that music. You stay here. Take a few more breaths. And then from here, unwind back to center. Draw your bent knees towards your chest. Maybe you want to rock and roll forward and back, or circle the legs apart, or come into happy baby. Or just kick the legs out and shake it out lying down. Sometimes that just feels really good. Shaking. Take any last movements before we stay still for a few minutes of Shavasana before our 10-minute meditation to get all your moves out. And then as you're ready, place your body purposefully in a position of rest. Turn the head if you need to make sure your neck is neutral and you're not clenching the jaw. Feel your pelvis, let it be heavy so that it's supported. Close your eyes, let the muscles in your face relax. Then let go of controlling your own breathing. Maybe take a big sigh to feel that release. Really just lying here, appreciating yourself, simply being, knowing that regardless of your achievements or what you're doing, what you're saying, you are so worthy of love and abundance just as you are. body remains still, just invite deeper breaths. And start with small movements, lovingly awakening your body. Anything that wants to move, increasing the movement slowly. And gather your knees into your chest again and give yourself a huge hug to thank yourself for committing to this hour of self-care, of filling your cup so that it overflows with love. Turn over to your right side. Take your time, lifting your body upright to sit. If you are choosing to stay with us for our 10-minute meditation, find a comfortable seat, upright, grounded, relaxed. If you're choosing to not, then namaste. Thanks for joining so far. So sitting for meditation, you might enjoy closing your eyes or partially close, where you can gaze at one spot to actually pay more attention inward, whatever works for you. You might stack the left palm over the right, let the thumbs and index fingers to touch, or rest the left hand on your heart, right hand on lower belly. Again, whatever works for you. But continue to breathe naturally. Feel your body relaxed here, supported underneath, supported above, supported all around in this safe space. I invite you to recall a moment, whatever comes first in your mind, when you were at play. Maybe you were laughing hysterically at a joke, or maybe you were being silly with a loved one. Maybe you were dancing by yourself, singing in the shower. Now, let's visualize that moment. See yourself there. See your surroundings, the context, who was there. What was being said, what you heard, perhaps what you smelled. And invite the feeling back in of that moment, that frame shot. Perhaps it's an immense joyfulness or a giddiness, maybe even a blissfulness. Allow yourself to fully be there for a moment. And as you become aware of yourself here and now, through your breathing, observe how your body is responding right now to that moment. Just feel it. Don't have to mentally label it so much. Feel how your breath may have changed, your heart rate. And as we continue the rest of this meditation, sitting in silence, I invite you to milk that feeling, that effect of play. Soar in it. Immerse in it. Allow a deep breath in, lifting your heart space. And open the mouth, let it go. Joining your palms to meet at your heart. Bow in. So, how might we allow ourselves moments of spontaneity to just laugh, to just let loose, to play? Let's close with one chant of Om. Take a deep breath. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.